well rise. Food prices are high drivers of inflation. According to the PACSA Food Price Barometer, there's been significant levels of food price inflation over the past 12 months. The Food Price Barometer is designed to track prices for especially low-income households. PACSA selects prices on the basis of the most affordable goods on the supermarket shelf. So let's take a look at the price increases over the last 12 months. In January 2015, a 25-kilogram bag of maize set you back R147.82. It's 31 Rand more in January 2016, while the price of 10-kilogram rice cost 66 Rand 32 cents in 2015. It's now 76 Rand 99 cents. 10 kilograms of white sugar would have set you back 99 Rand 65 in January 2015. Today, it's 108 Rand 82 cents. 62 Rand 80 cents would have got you 4 liters of cooking oil in January of last year. It now costs you 87 Rand 14 in January of 2016. 2 liters of milk had a price tag of 24 Rand 98 in January last year. The price decreased somewhat to 23 Rand 65 in 2016. 30 eggs were priced at 38 Rand 15 this time last year. In January 2016, it will cost you 38 Rand 99. And 1 kilogram of beef was at 50 Rand 15 cents in January 2015. In January 2016, it was priced at 58 Rand 33. And finally, 10 kilograms of potatoes set you back 33 Rand 33 cents in January. The price jumped to 73 Rand 32 cents in January 2016. So collectively, this basket increased by 124 Rand 18 cents. To unpack what these numbers mean for ordinary consumers, we have Neil Roots, who's CEO of Debt Rescue. Neil, thanks so much for your time today. Those are steep price increases for families who particularly spend a lot of money on 2 major items in their basket, that's food and transport.
That is very true and very unfortunate because of the fact that this is going to hit the poorest of the poor very hard, because it's going to have a very big impact on people with a lower income, although it's going to affect everybody through the range. And, you know, if you look at the consumers currently and the debt state in South Africa, almost half of all credit active consumers are over indebted, meaning that they are on arrears with at least 3 payments on one of their accounts. So this just makes things worse, and it's just not helping, especially in light of the fact that we're most probably going to see further increases in prices later this year, like the electricity prices. You know, the CPI that's so high now is most probably going to cause interest rates to go up as well. And all these things filters through to the prices of goods and services, and that comes down to consumers having to pay more, and they don't necessarily get a higher salary in line with these increases.
When we look at those who are highly indebted, what are they borrowing for?
What we saw in the past is that usually people had home loans and vehicle finance and these kind of loans, but nowadays it's more a matter of people having unsecured debt. Unsecured debt is like personal loans, credit cards and these things. Now we see that people nowadays borrow money for essential goods, like food and clothes and these things. And, you know, we at Debt Rescue always advise that people should not do that. In fact, they should draw up a budget and stick to that budget and, you know, distinguish between what they need and what they want, and therefore make sure that they have enough cash at the end of the month for all their essential needs in the household.
Okay, so talking about unsecured debt, we know that we are in an interest rate hiking cycle at the moment. We saw 2 interest rates last year, saw one in January, expecting another one next month as well. When you're paying off your unsecured debt, what sort of interest rates are we talking about there?
We're talking about very high interest rates with the unsecured lending much higher than with home loans and vehicle finance and these kind of things. It can be as high as like 16%, 17% annually. And that is what people don't really or always realize, is it's sometimes very easy to get these loans, the unsecured loans, but the interest rates are so high, you know, and they don't really take that into account. That's why we always encourage people that if they have extra money, like if they received a bonus, let's say over December or whatever the case may be, then they should use that money to pay off their smallest debt first, because those debt usually carries the highest interest rates.
And what typically are those? Are your store cards and that sort of thing?
Yes, exactly. It's the store cards. It's also, you know, your micro loans, your personal loans and these kind of things. And like I said earlier, unfortunately, we're currently in a situation where people use credit to buy food. And that's just indicative of how bad the situation currently is.
If you're already in trouble, right, what advice would you give people? I mean, you've said, Kluat, over 50% of credit active consumers are struggling to keep up with paying their debt. So if you're already in that situation, what advice would you give those people?
Well, one good thing that government did is to implement something called debt counselling, and that's in terms of the National Credit Act. Now, debt counselling is there to help consumers to pay off their debt in an affordable manner without losing their assets. So what we would recommend is that if people find themselves in a situation where they cannot pay their monthly installments and they don't have enough money to pay for all their essential needs, then they need to contact a debt counsellor as soon as possible, because what we do as debt counsellors and at Debt Rescue is that you know, we calculate what a person needs on a monthly basis to pay for all his essential goods, and then we also distinguish that from what he needs to pay his credit providers. Now, in terms of the National Credit Act, we are allowed to lower those payments towards the credit providers, making it possible for the consumer to have enough money left to pay for all these essential goods like food and so on, and at the end of the day pay off his debt in an affordable manner without losing his assets.
We'll leave it there. Thanks for your time today. Neil Roots, the CEO of Debt Rescue.